That is certainly our big story for the hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa about to speak to SABC News on a wide range of interviews. This marks the first interview given by the head of state after the formation of the Government of National Unity. We've got our best standing by, involving my colleague Bongiwe Zwane, who is already at Mahlamba Ndlopfu in Pretoria. That's where this wide-ranging interview is set to take place, and she joins us now live. And my goodness, Bongiwe, where do we begin? So much to talk about with the president, given just how unprecedented the past few months have been.
And good morning, Ayanda, and good morning to our viewers. Doesn't it feel like it just needs the whole day, as you say? There's just so much to talk about, so much has happened. And the makeup of the cabinet in South Africa also, quite different when you look at it right now. So certainly, as we wait for the president, who we are told will be arriving here any moment, there's a lot of questions, especially that we are asking, but also South Africans are asking, Ayanda. You think about the makeup of cabinet right now. It's made up of different political parties. Certainly the dynamics that are at play when the doors are closed is something to talk about, because it also culminates into what we see playing out in the public domain, particularly around some of the discussions there. And then at the same time, you think about the fact that this is a president who just managed through his own political party just to bag over 40% of the votes. And some analysts have seen this as a rejection by the electorate. And you think about 2019, the ANC getting about just 57% of the vote. So certainly it speaks of the makeup of this Government of National Unity. It speaks of the position that the country finds itself in right now, as different voices have been now represented. At the same time, you take it back to the IEC, when President Cyril Ramaphosa was saying the message is clear that the people of South Africa want us to work together. So have these different political parties heeded that message from the South Africans to then work together and to ensure that they address some of the critical issues that the country is facing. You think about the fact that right now you have an Eskom that is performing quite well, we can say. We haven't seen load shedding, but there are places that experience load reduction, especially at peak times, whether it's the morning or it's the evening. So what do you say to someone like that? And what do you say to someone who's watching, crime run rampant in the communities? You think about the fact that right now we're seeing even messages of individuals who are having to close shop. Mthatha, for example, we're seeing suggestions that there may be 4 schools, for example, that have closed because of this protection fee. You think about the fact that it's Women's Month and the unemployment figures have come out, and they do paint a picture of a decade that has seen some kind of improvement when it comes to women in the labor market, but that improvement is not sufficient enough for women to be unburdened when it comes to some of the issues that they face when it comes to employment. So certainly lots to talk about. And for you and I, of course, we think about even, around some of the issues when you think about, for example, GBV. There was a summit that the president had. There are acts that have been put in place, but you still see in some of the communities where people are saying that what is on paper does not translate into what we're seeing in police stations, does not translate into what we're seeing in some of the communities. The economy of the country needs further boosting in order for it to grow. So certainly a lot of these conversations, I can tell you, are going to be forming part of our discussions this morning as we try to understand, is it working? Is this Government of National Unity delivering on its mandate so far? Because certainly South Africans are tired of waiting.
Absolutely, and South Africans in many instances have waited for many years already. There are areas of convergence for the GNU, aren't there, Bongiwe? I mean, we know that all parties typically sing from the same hymn book when it comes to tackling things like crime, reducing the inequality gap in the country, growing the economy and creating jobs. But there are also serious areas of divergence. I mean, questions around what we do with the NHI. The Bella Bill comes to mind, and so many other pieces of legislation. It'll be interesting to see or hear how the president is planning to negotiate these quicksands, as some people describe it.
And especially because, Ayanda, you talk about the NHI, you talk about what we often hear about, which is redress, economic redress. Some of these different political voices within this government of national unity have got different ideas what economic redress looks like for South Africa. So for some of them, they say that this, triple BEE is simply not working. Others are saying that, but the NHI is not the solution. Others are saying, but the pilot projects that, have been piloted when it comes to the NHI are simply showing us that we are in a step in the right direction. So there's a lot to unpack on this one, even, Ayanda, because you think about the fact that the funding model right now, some of them are raising as a concern, and even on the issue of crime, Ayanda, you have some of the voices that are represented inside of this government of national unity who are saying that, but where are the latest crime statistics? If we are to say that we are going to be fighting, crime, how then do we do it without knowing what, we are faced with when it comes to crime? And at the same time, Ayanda, you cannot divorce the fact that the country is going to 2026 local government elections. These are political parties who also want to put their best foot forward as they are finding themselves trying to navigate the space of the government of national unity. They're also saying to the electorate that would have voted for them that we are here to represent what you stand for. You think about the fact that, for example, the Patriotic Alliance, the different stance it takes on the conflict in the Middle East. So how do you then begin to navigate some of these spaces in this particular room that is going to have all of these different political parties represented in the government of national unity to emerge with one voice?
Absolutely. All such crucial questions. All right, I understand the president is not too far from you, so we'll give you an opportunity to have your pleasantries, as they say. And then as soon as everybody has taken their seats and he's in the hot seat, we'll make sure to be live once again there in Pretoria. Bongiwe, Zwane, part of our team, of course, also going to be joined by our politics editor, Mzwandile Mbeje, who are going to be engaging the president on a wide range of issues at any moment now, as soon as the president is able to take his seat and, of course, familiarize himself with how this broadcast is going to take place. And as we ventilated there, you can see there is a lot to think about, and there really isn't already enough time to get through everything, but we'll certainly make sure to bring some of those salient points to you as soon as that engagement begins.